And welcome to the Crawford Podcasting Network for another episode, all Rell and Good, with former Michigan standout Richard Rellford, number 40 out of Riviera Beach, Florida. Two-time Big Ten champion, 4-year starter. 4-year starter. 4 years. How do you start 4 years? That's unusual nowadays. I mean, so what was that like? Let's talk about, and we're going to tie this in. This great win in a second here about what Michigan did, over 18-point win over Indiana. But I want to go back to your freshman year, because when we've been talking about Caleb Houston's struggles, and he's come out of that, which we're going to address in a second as well. Your freshman year, what was that like? Did you hit the wall? Was there any wall, or did you waltz through it? I know you didn't make the tournament. You had a winning record, but take us through what that experience was like for you, Richard.
I think for me, coming into Michigan my freshman year, I knew I could start because I was going to come in and I was going to work harder than anybody else. And I know also, Tom, that being a two-sport guy, that I had an advantage as far as strength.
Yes.
And if anybody was going to be there, and it was Ike Persons in front of me, I figured he was the same size, but my advantage was my strength and my jumping ability. I knew that I could start. And you know what? I think I won that job in the summertime.
You did. Okay, so when did you come up to, did you stay in the summer in Riviera Beach, or did you come up early like the kids are doing now, or did you just come in September like everybody else?
I graduated on a Friday, and I was in Michigan by Monday.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so do you take classes in the summer?
No, I didn't. What I did was I got familiar, because in the summertime, we enrolled in we enrolled in summer school, and I had one class. I had one.
You had one class. Okay.
Yeah, I had one class.
Okay.
And we went from there.
Okay. So where did you stay? Did you stay in one of the dorms, or what did you do?
No. Believe it or not, one of the alumni, his name was Dwayne Black.
Okay.
And he owned several apartment buildings.
Okay.
And he had a house. So I had a room in that house. I didn't have a full-fledged apartment. I just had a house. And me and Butch came up early. And so I stayed in that house, man, for the first month until school opened. And then I moved into the dorm. But I think what helped me was coming up early. It really did.
Okay, let's think about this for a second here. I mean, you're coming, you knew Butch, though, just from the recruiting process?
Yes.
So you know one other guy, basically.
Right.
Okay.
That's it.
So you're coming from Riviera Beach, Florida, to Ann Arbor. You don't know hardly anybody, and you're going through this daunting task. You're playing a Big Ten college basketball.
Yes.
Where was your level of confidence? Did you ever feel homesick? Like, did you ever have that moment? What was I thinking? Moment?
Oh,
what was I thinking about doing?
Without a doubt. Listen, I had problems with being away from home for a while, and then when the team was, either we were winning or losing, I started getting to where I was missing my family.
Okay.
And believe it or not, man, at one point it was so bad. What Coach did was I went home for like a weekend, and it kind of set me back and made me feel a lot better. But I got to be honest too, that one of the other things that made it better was I got to see my boy Anthony Carter every day.
Yeah.
And hanging out with Anthony and those guys on the football team, Butch Wolfolk and all those guys, it made me feel comfortable.
Or made you feel part of it. You know, and the other thing about Anthony Carter, people don't realize, when he was a freshman, he went home, and Bo went down there and chased after him. And he went into that youth center, that basketball arena, and you were in there when Bo came in. I think if you told me the story correctly, trying to get Anthony to come back, and he came back. I often wonder about. I mean, I went to school 60 miles away. I think it's a little bit different. I mean, you're from Florida coming up here. Because you're not going to see your family for a long time.
Yes.
Now it's different, because this is in the 80s. This is before cell phones. You didn't call home that often. You couldn't probably afford to call. And you're living in this house. Where did you have meals?
Well, we ate at Thanos. Thanos was the pizzeria.
Oh, Thanos? You know what?
Yeah,
over on Liberty?
Yes, on Liberty. And I ate at Pizza Bob's. Pizza Bob's was around
yes,
the corner.
Baby. I love Pizza Bob's.
Yes.
Hey, great shakes, great
Yes.
chocolate shakes
Yes, he
at
did.
Pizza Bob's.
Yes, he did.
Better than the
Yes, he did.
pizza. Better
I
than the
thought,
subs
yes,
with the shakes.
yes,
The shakes
yes.
were unfreaking believable at
Well,
Pizza Bob's.
he was big time. He was famous because of those shakes. People love those shakes.
It was like a drug to me.
Yes,
I mean,
it was. You and all of us.
I lived up 2 blocks up at the Beta House. You know, we go, my buddy Gary, we go down there every freaking night and get a shake and a sub. I mean, I'm
Listen,
surprised I didn't weigh 250 pounds. I mean, it was.
but it was, his food was terrific.
Yes.
And all of us. Now, I got to tell you, because we ate there, one of the biggest stories were we were sitting inside Pizza Bob's my sophomore year, and the NCAA was following us around. And we met the NCAA guy at Pizza Bob's. He was in there because he was trying to figure out how we got all of these athletes to come here, and was if anything done illegally.
Okay, so Michigan, and at least was being investigated because of this quote unquote Fab Five, the original Fab Five.
Yes, we were.
And so they were walking. What were they trying to figure out? Where you got your money, or what was the deal?
Right, they were trying to figure out how we got cars, but we all lived in the dorm.
How did you get cars?
What happened was I didn't get a car until I made some money, and I bought like a Mazda 626.
Oh, yeah.
It cost me like $1,800.
Okay.
And that's exactly how we all got them. Butch had a big Lincoln, but we worked. You know what I mean? Everybody thought that they were giving us a lot of stuff. You know, the one thing they were doing, man, and you can call it illegal or not, they made sure we ate. They made sure they fed us. Because, you know, listen, you're talking about a bunch of college kids who have no clue.
Well, hold a second here. Okay, if you're going to class, I mean, part of your full ride scholarship,
yes,
is allocations for food and housing, right?
Yes.
So they had to. I mean, you weren't doing the dorm contract or anything like that.
No.
Like you would normally in the academic. I mean, they used to have one dorm open in the summertime, like Mary Markley or one of those dorms.
I think that could have been South Quad.
Oh, South Quad. They have cafeteria, and you know, for students who stay in the summertime.
Plus, you had all the football players stayed in South Quad.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, but so they gave you, so you had a stipend of some kind, so you could go to Pizza Bob's.
Right.
Every night.
Well, the Pizza Bob money came from my job.
Oh, what was the job you had?
This is what I did. I was studying communications.
Yeah, that's me, baby. You and me.
And what Frieder and them did was they hooked me up with a guy named Richard Wood. He was the agent of Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen.
Okay.
And it was like I shadowed him a whole summer. And to learn, you know, I sat in on a meeting when he had Merlin Olsen and Dick Enberg, and I listened to him talk to these guys. And at this time, those two guys were big in the business.
That was number one. That was NBC, NFL, and
they were big.
Rose Bowl broadcast was Dick Enberg, Merlin Olsen.
That's exactly right. And so, listen, man, what I learned from those guys were invaluable. Yeah. I learned basically how to, you know, conduct interviews and listen to people before I talk too much. Yeah. Dick Enberg was so helpful. He was like, listen, kid, if you ever want to do this business, this is how it has to go. Yeah. And that's what we did.
Wow. That's awesome. And then so you moved into South Quad I
moved into West Quad.
You were in the West Quad.
Yeah, okay. We were in the West Quad.
Okay, so you're in West Quad, and Allen Rumsey, or where were you at?
No, you know what? I was in the West Quad. We were on the second floor. I can't remember the name of ours. I think we just called it West Quad.
Okay, so you're West Quad, and you probably felt pretty comfortable because you had the summer under your belt.
Not only was I comfortable, that's exactly right. Me and Butch was the most comfortable.
Yeah,
because remember, I played in the Sandy Sanders. Right, I played in the Sandy Sanders League that summer. Okay. And so Roy was still in Detroit. Rob was in Lansing. Yeah. And Paul Jokic was, you know, he played for Brother Rice, but he was coming down. Right, Birmingham. Okay. He would come down. And then, listen, when all of us met for the first time, it was like magic, man. It's like we got along.
That was a good. Jokic then moved over to football, but that's
right.
That worked out well for him. Okay, so that freshman year, and then we'll get to this Michigan team, the current Michigan team. But I love this nostalgic stuff, and I think our listeners on the Crawford Podcasting Network, whenever have you and CY Chris Young or we had Sean Higgins last week. They all like talking about the old days and what that was like. So, but when you went to that freshman year, did you hit the freshman wall like Hunter did last year? Was there any part of the season that you hit a slump, or like Caleb did basically to start his freshman campaign?
I don't remember a slump at all because
oh, that's a confident guy, right?
Yeah, because you know why? Because once the Big Ten season started, it became tougher. The regular season was not so tough because we played teams we were beating.
Yeah.
But when I got to the Big Ten, I guess you can't really call it a wall. The talent got tougher because for me, I think my toughest game was when we played Indiana, and they had Whitman and Kitchell. Man, these guys were amazing.
Oh, so Randy Whitman must have been a
senior.
Yeah.
And Kitchell was a senior, and we were freshmen.
Yeah.
And I told you, that's the year that Coach Frieder brought Bobby Knight in the locker room, man, at the end of the game when we lost down there by like 30-something.
You got beat that bad?
We got destroyed. And Bobby Knight, he brought Bobby Knight in. And I'm going to tell you, from that time on, Bobby had no idea how he motivated us because he had the nerve to say to us that we gave him the best first half he's ever had. And I said, first half? It was a 40-minute game. That's all we did was the first half? And that's how he get. And I'm going to tell you, after that, they beat us twice that year, home and away. But my sophomore year, we remembered that, man. We remembered that.
Did you beat him your sophomore year? Did you beat him?
I think we beat him once. I think we about to beat him once.
Okay, and then your junior senior years, we
beat them both times.
No, I take it back. You lost when you were a junior. You lost the opener. Remember, you got blown out.
Right. But we beat them because Gary hit a last-second shot.
No, yeah, at the last regular season game.
Right.
So you split with them your junior year.
Yes.
And then this is what the embarrassing thing is. You're the player, and I'm the geeky fan, and I know more than you do. That's embarrassing.
Listen, man, no. I tell you all the time, Tom, how people who may have not played but know as much as we do because they watch. They watch. You're a basketball mind. You got a basketball
I played
mind.
in high school, but I didn't. College was a joke. There was no way I would even try.
But not only that, you knew the game, though, Tom. When you know the game, listen. I've been doing this and knowing you for a few years now.
Yeah.
And I'm always laughing when you say things that I don't even remember.
I know. I mean, Sean brought that up last week, and I was, it was really it is somewhat embarrassing sometimes.
Listen,
but
man,
but your senior year, didn't you split with it? Did you lose down there the first one, and then you blew them out? I know you blew them out your last regular season.
No, I think we beat that. I think my senior year might have been the year Gary hit the shot, the last second shot in.
No, that was your shot.
Was that my sophomore year?
That was that was junior year.
Because I don't remember losing to them twice my senior year. Because we only lost 2 games my senior year.
No, you lost 3 games. You lost 2 to Michigan State.
Right. And, it might have been Indiana, but I know we lost 2 to Michigan State because Scott Skiles wouldn't let me live that down.
I know. I don't want to talk about that. That game still pains. Those 2 games still pains me.
Oh, really
okay.
bad.
Let's before we let this time slip away. Let's talk. And before I embarrass myself with my geekiness here, let's talk about this big 80-62 victory. Michigan over Indiana. This is actually 3 straight games in a row. The Wolverines have played well because they played all but the last 7 minutes of the Illinois game. They played hard. They played terrific. They lost to Illinois, even though Michigan did not have Hunter Dickinson, and they're about ready to go ahead. We talked about that last week.
Right.
But then you had the good 19-point win over Maryland. And then this I'm going to be quite honest with you, Rich. I didn't see 18-point win over Indiana happening yesterday at all in my wildest fantasies. But they jumped on him early and often. Hunter was terrific. Hunter Dickinson, 25 points. I mean, he was 4 for 4 from the free throw line. He was terrific from the arc, beyond the arc, inside the arc. He was wonderful. Let's start with Hunter, okay? And then we'll hit some other cats here. and talk about the team in general. But what did you see out of number one there for the Wolverines?
I tell you all the time, and I was talking to this about it with a friend.
Yeah.
We win when we go through Hunter.
Yeah.
If the offense goes through Hunter, because listen, me and you both know watching the game yesterday, Indiana has a really good center. He's like 5th or 6th in the nation in scoring.
Trace Jackson,
Trace.
Yeah.
And when Hunter gets the ball down low, he can't even be guarded.
Yeah.
Because at 7-1, he's turning around shooting that jump hook, and when he's underneath the basket, he's dunking.
Yeah.
And my thing was the way he dominated made it easier for everyone else, because now Houston gets to sit out there and shoot your J because they're going to fall back on Hunter.
Yeah.
They have to, because he's killing them. And when Houston hit his first 3, I knew then he was going to have a good night.